What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and captain, Garrett Morlang, and here in the studio with me is none other than the Nerd Dads, Zech Keenan.
Hello, everybody. I'm back.
Twice.
You thought you got rid of me.
We have him on. We are blessed with his presence. One more week. Give us some more nuggets of wisdom. I think I put that out as a tweet. I tweeted that out last week about the episode. I was like, he's smarter than me. Come listen to the episode.
I'm not smarter.
Like, it's so much better when someone smart comes on and can. That's not a diss against JJ. Whoa, okay. That wasn't against. Fired. That wasn't against. There was no diss against JJ. I was talking about even myself. Someone smart who knows how to talk about games. And me and JJ just blabber on and on about who knows what, but sorry, JJ, did not mean that. Rest in peace, JJ.
It's so funny.
But how's your week been?
It's been good. It's been busy.
Yeah.
2 weekends in a row now. I've helped. The last weekend I helped a friend of mine move.
Okay.
And then Saturday I helped my parents move.
Oh dang.
And we still got like 2 more weekends of moving for them.
You need to start charging.
No, they've done a lot for me. I don't mind.
Okay. So at this point, you're just a moving business, right? Like,
pretty much. No, it's been great. I get to hang out with my dad and just kind of chill and stuff. So
cool. Yeah, I think I saw you on Instagram putting up like pictures of random things you guys were finding and stuff.
Yep. We found an old picture of me, my sister, and my mom and dad, and we were like I think I must have been like 2 or 3. And then I found a whole box full of all the CDs and DVDs I burned when I was in high school.
Oh, nice.
So I had like Gundam episodes on there. I had so much
awesome.
Random techno, and I'm like, what was I doing?
Only the hits.
Old movies that I made. I used to make a lot of movies in high school,
okay.
So like a lot of me and my friends goofing off on bikes. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Good times.
That's sweet. Yeah, that's really cool. I had a very chill weekend, which I was so happy for, because the last 3 or 4 weekends has just been so crazy, so busy, like doing stuff all the time, and also having like a pregnant wife. It's like, I don't know, helping her with doing stuff on the weekends. She's just like done spent after watching our son all week. So it's so nice to just like, we had a weekend where I just sat on the floor and played with Shep, and we didn't have to go anywhere, didn't have to do anything. And he was even able to finish Death Stranding.
I saw that.
A round of applause for me.
Way to go.
Applause. It only took me, 2.5 months?
Yeah.
But at the end, the timer said 50 hours, like on the dot.
50 exactly? That wasn't a rounding?
I mean,
like 50-ish.
Okay.
We don't know. We lost count after 100.
It was like 50 hours
40.
and like 5. I don't know. It was in that area. It was pretty close to 50 hours in just like a few minutes. I was like, that's pretty good.
That's
pretty
good
cool.
round.
Yeah, I'll talk about later in what you planned, but that game.
Cool.
I am 100% sure now. I'm glad I picked it for my game of the year. It's so good. But yeah, it was just a real restful weekend, which was so rare. It's so rare once you have a kid and now have another one on the way. So
yeah, we'll say goodbye to your time.
Yeah, because it's only going to get
at least
less.
You have what? You have 2 kids?
1, it was the second on the way.
Okay, so when you have 2 kids, it's still not bad because you and your wife can kind of play man-to-man defense.
Yeah.
When you get 3, me and my wife, we got to play zone defense.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, so I'm in the living room. I got 2. You are in the kids' room reading a book with the third one. So we got this covered.
Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah,
barely surviving.
Or even arms. You only got 2 arms, and then you get the third one. You're like, what do you do with the third one?
Just
hopefully
time to a rope and then wrap that around your waist and just drag them behind you.
Yeah, you just stuff all of them into the shopping cart.
Yeah,
that's good.
I think we'll probably stop at 2. I think we're pretty good with that. I've told my wife the same thing. I'm like, I don't know. There's only 2 of us. Why do that to ourselves? Just outnumber ourselves. It's just more work for us, more fear of losing a child or something in a supermarket. Oh man.
No.
But yeah, cool. Well, just a couple little housekeeping things here. If you did not know, we have a Patreon. If you really love our podcast, which I hope you guys do, or whether you listen through audio or watch on YouTube, go check us out at patreon.com/supergamerboys. If you really love it, you can support us over there. It's so very much appreciated. Shout out to our Patreon sponsors this week, Bill Bird and Julie Bates. You guys are awesome. You're killing it. And without your guys' support, as well as the rest of you who support us, we would not be able to do the cool stuff we do. Yeah, and it's actually, I was thinking about it, I was like, oh man, like, and we're going to talk about the news a little bit more. It's like the spring's getting pretty quiet. And I'm like, well, that's just giving us a chance to save up some of this Patreon money, save up some, cash to be able to splurge when we get this huge wave of games coming later in the year.
Are you going to save up for the Xbox X Series or PlayStation 5?
Probably the PlayStation 5, yeah. So I've never bought a console like at launch.
That's right. We talked about this.
Yeah, or I think it was a through text. I don't know if it's on the show last week, but yeah, we were texting about it for a little bit. But I've owned like everything. I've owned pretty much every console from like PS1 up, like I've owned all the PlayStation consoles, owned all the Xbox consoles, at least one, or other than Xbox One, I guess. So and they've only had 3. Wow, what's sad console over there. Man, I've only had 3 so far. Bunch of babies.
First world problems.
No. But but I've never owned anything like at launch. It was always like a little bit later. Even the PlayStation 2, like I bought myself, I saved up, how many hundreds of thousands of soda cans to buy the thing and bottles and stuff like that.
That's good.
But it takes a long time to do that. So it was like a year later or something like that. So I'm really excited I would say my Christmas money I got this year, I'm going to save birthday money, and I'm going to be ready there first in line on release day, getting my PlayStation 5, my first ever launch console. Probably just to be disappointed with the launch lineup, but I feel like just for the thrill of buying a new console, I got to do it at least once in my life,
Yeah.
I think that's what I was telling you. I was like, I want to do it at least once. I know it's not going to be great, but
it's not that disappointing. I mean, honestly, let's be real, right? I mean, tell the people that are like, oh, I got a new Xbox One X, I'm so sad. Like, are you really? Because I'm pretty sure you're still playing it.
Yeah, right.
Like, give me a break, man. I mean, there's going to be some pretty good games. There's not going to be a lot of great games. There's going to be a few games.
I mean, we'll see. Like so far, PlayStation hasn't really, they've only announced one game. And even that one was kind of like, I'm not super excited about.
If it's
Xbox says Halo coming and, the Senua's Sacrifice, the Hellblade 2.
Oh, yeah, the second one, yeah. Which, have you played that?
Although we don't know if it's that's launch title or not. It's just been announced as coming. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure both consoles, they're gonna have. I mean, usually when consoles launch with it's like 10, 20 games ish, maybe less than that. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I got the GameCube on launch,
yeah,
or like for Christmas, and I was able to got really lucky. Happened only once in my life. My parents got me all the launch titles for it.
Oh dang.
Including Madden.
Oh, nice, yeah. Good old Madden. And on GameCube, nonetheless.
Found out I am not good at Madden. Still not.
I don't think anyone really is, but
no, I have some. All my friends are good at Madden.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends and family that are really good at Madden.
That's like all my life. I thought I was really good at Smash Brothers until I play against other people. And I'm like, oh, I suck at this. Like I'm real good at the store adventure mode, but against people, forget it. I'm so bad at it. Something else popped in my head. I was gonna mention about that, but it just slipped my mind. So. It was playing off of what you were just saying. So
about a handful of games being launched and not being disappointed.
Oh yes, I think the biggest thing with PS5 is I'm at least excited it'll be backwards compatible. So it's like even if I get the PS5, I know at that point I can ditch the PS4 and still be able to play my PS4 games because there will still be tons of they've said before they plan on supporting that for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's like. We're good. And I know I can at least play those. And who knows, my hope is that they'll add some sort of ability to even maybe spend $10 to get the PS5 upgraded version or something, that maybe adds ray tracing to whatever game comes out.
That's going to be awesome.
Last of Us Part 2.
Ray tracing on console.
Last of Us Part 2 or something like that. That's they haven't confirmed that either, but that's a hope. That's a hope, a dream of mine that you can pay for an upgraded PS5 version of a PS4 game.
Yeah,
I think it'd be sweet.
That'll be that was a smart move that they did back from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One gen. I don't know if they did it for PlayStation, but I know that if you had bought Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for the Xbox 360, you were able to just get a free copy of Advanced Warfare for the 360.
Wow. Or PS4 is not backwards compatible.
Or discounted or something.
Big fail there, PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, that seems like such a given to be backwards compatible.
You would think. The main reason because they've come out and addressed it, and they're just like, the numbers aren't there. Like, people want it, but then people don't use it. So why put it in there? It's like, well, that's a good point, but when I do want it, I really want it. So it's
especially on launch.
Yeah. So it's like, maybe I don't have it all the time or don't use it all the time, but when I need it, I would really like it. Like when I want to play Metal Gear Solid 4 and I can only play it either if I buy a PS3 or get PlayStation Now, their streaming service.
Funny thing is, they're just repeating Xbox's mistake because that was their logic too. Like, they're like, well, here's the deal. Because I mean, when the Xbox One launched, they're like, it's not backwards compatible. And people were like, what?
Yeah.
So not only are there no games, but I can't even play the games that I already own.
Yeah, I remember that. And then PlayStation came out the next. I think they were later on in the day or something. And like, this is how you share games, and like, handed a game to someone and Xbox.
They were just like slided them the entire
so good.
The entire keynote speech was just like slamming on Steve Maddox and all the stupid things he said.
So good.
And Steve Maddox didn't have a job much longer after that.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Enter Phil Spencer.
Yeah. Who's killing it, by the way.
Dude, he's my favorite.
Well, also shout out to HP Video Game Podcast Network. We're part of a sweet network with a bunch of awesome shows on there. Remember to go check them out on Twitter or on the Apple Podcast app. Heck, let's just throw this out here. supergamerboys.com/Discord. It's been real quiet in there lately. I know, like you and I have thrown some stuff up in there, but not super busy in there, but we are. I mean, I'm always on there. As soon as anything pops in, I get a notification. So if you guys want to chit chat, discuss what you like or don't like about what we say on the show or what we're doing on the show, or if you want to give your own gaming opinions, or we even have a what you playing or what you watching channel. You can come talk about what you're playing, what you're watching. We can have just cool discussions in there, or just talk about what you had for lunch that day. I don't care. You can talk about whatever you want.
I'm super interested in what you had for lunch.
Yeah. So come join it. That is supergamerboys.com/Discord. Cool. Well, let's get into the Nerdy Newds. Normally JJ would have a little thing there. Oh. That's fine. I'm not saying you have to come up with that.
The Nerdy Newds!
It's pretty close to what he does, actually.
Almost.
Pretty close.
Sorry, that's about as good as I can get, JJ.
No one can ever fill those shoes. Rest in peace.
He's not dead. You said that like 3 times.
I'm just going to keep saying rest in peace, JJ, and see if I can convince people that maybe he's passed away. Then when he comes back, I'll be like, he's back from the dead.
He lives.
Okay, so this first kind of news block I titled The Delay Apocalypse. So
it's apt.
It's one of those things where a couple games got delayed. At first, it was like, okay, these 2 games, that's kind of a big deal. But everyone's like, oh, it's delay season. Like, it's not like...
It's not abnormal.
It's not abnormal for that to happen, kind of, especially around this time of year. Like, it's whatever. But then it was like, okay, one more game, and then one more game, and then one more game. It's like, holy smokes, like, what's happening? I think when we were messaging earlier, I was telling you, I was like, at first I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, game got delayed. And then after today, this morning, I was like, what is happening? Video games are ending. It's the end.
No more games.
So let's just do a quick rundown of some of these. So first and foremost.
You can skip the first one, I don't care.
Well, maybe people out there care.
All right, fine. We'll do it for the people.
Some people
care. All you people out there might care.
Okay. Well, that's just hating here. But Square Enix delays Final Fantasy VII Remake and their Avengers game. Pretty crazy because they were both coming. So all of these games were coming in spring. Yeah. Which is what I alluded to earlier when I said this spring, there's nothing happening. It's a ghost town now. Final Fantasy VII Remake is delayed from March 3rd to April 10th. So I guess it's still technically spring, but delayed a month. While the upcoming Avengers game was bumped from May to September. That's a more substantial bump. That's a pretty big leap there.
Yeah, that's a big delay.
In a statement, Final Fantasy VII Remake producers Yoshinori Kitase said that game's delay was for extra polish, and the heads of Avengers development studio Crystal Dynamics said something similar. Quote here, to that end, we will spend this additional development time focusing on fine-tuning and polishing the game to the high standards our fans expect and deserve. And then Jason Schreier says here on Kotaku, delay season has begun. Please look forward to whatever delays are next. Little did he know. I think he said that as a joke. And little did he know that not even, I think it was like the next day or something, maybe 2 days. We had 2 days of, kind of recovering from that. And then Cyberpunk 2077 delayed until later this year. Oh boy. CD Projekt Red has announced a delay for Cyberpunk 2077, pushing the anticipated RPG back from its original April 16th release date to September 17th. The game, which is available for pre-order, is still scheduled to release for the Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Google Stadia. This was a little heavier hit. Not expecting that one. I mean, I heard some people saying like, "Oh, I knew that was going to happen." It's like, but did you though?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was, I didn't see it coming. I guess I thought they were pretty nailed down because this game's been in development forever. I feel like it's been like 6-7 years since we first saw like a trailer.
Yeah. Well, how big of a studio is CD Projekt Red anyway? Because I don't really even know.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean,
they've got to be like a bigger studio.
That's what I imagine. I mean, they freaking made The Witcher 3, like the whole series. Like those are massive games. They did those in pretty decent amount of time. Like between this, Witcher 2 and 3, they came out pretty quick if I remember right.
Yeah, but a lot of the assets were already made, and they were able to. Think about it. Like 3 isn't that far of a departure in terms of looks than 2.
Yeah. Let's see, over 400 people.
Wow, that's pretty big. That's a lot of people.
I don't know how reliable that source is.
It's 100% accurate. No,
we'll see. Excuse me. But yeah, so it's a pretty big studio.
But I don't mind. Honestly, there's a lot of delays, but I really don't mind.
Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing with all these delays. It's like it just means they have more time to work on it. It's going to be better. It's better than putting out a game that's
crap,
not good.
Yeah.
But man, was that a bummer to hear that. And who was it? There's someone else. Devolver Studios had tweeted out like, I don't know, a month or so back saying, I think it was like a tweet they had like, if this tweet doesn't get so many likes or retweets, we're going to cancel games or something like that. And at the bottom, they even put, even Cyberpunk 2077, don't tempt us or something like that. And then it didn't get enough likes. And then when that happened, they're like, we weren't messing around. Like, we told you. I want to see that tweet. Like, I paraphrase a little bit, but it was so good. Like, I was like, oh man, that is too stinking
That's
good.
Hilarious.
But I'll have to show that to you later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, oh man, they weren't kidding around. But so there's some levels here to this Cyberpunk delay, because yes, it got delayed coming out. What's that? April, May, June, July, August. Like 5 months later. It's quite a while we have to wait. It's super close to those next gen releases. A lot of people are like, oh, maybe that means they're just getting ready they'll just release everything, PS4, Xbox One, alongside the PS5 and like Xbox Series X edition of it or something like that. That makes sense, right? Like,
yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Like you would, want to capitalize.
But that's not what happened, was it?
You want to capitalize on these new consoles that are coming out with around that time. But no, we get this article from GameSpot here. No current plans for PS5, Xbox Series X versions of Cyberpunk 2077, says CD Projekt Red. It doesn't mean that next-gen ports won't be made. They're just not being planned right now.
And how hard is it to port a game, I wonder?
It must be pretty hard if at this point they're not even bothering planning it. Like that's like if it was easy, I feel like they'd at least have it in the planning stages. So then when they're done with the current gen, they can just they can right away start working on it. But if they're not, if it's not even in their mind, like obviously it's harder than a lot of us think, because obviously it's easy to be like, oh, just go to the game, hit export, and change it to PlayStation 5 or something. And,
export as .ps5.
Yeah, right? Like it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Obviously not the case, but yeah, I just thought that was so bizarre when I saw that. Because it almost seems like it just seems so ridiculous for this to come out in September and potentially a month and a half, 2 months later, the new consoles come out in November.
That's a weird release window. I mean, think about it though. Even if you did get the game in March, I know for me, I'm still not going to be able to finish it until next year anyway, because I've got a backlog of games already. Even if I did get my new Xbox, which I probably won't get on day one, just because been there, done that. And like, I don't know, like, I think they're taking a risk that may or may not pay off in the sense that they are releasing it at the peak of the holiday season. So you are going to get all those people that are like, yes, awesome, it's new game time. So your sales might not be affected on day one. Just the longevity of people playing it might be affected after the holidays if it gets. Because I mean, the Series X, they haven't dropped the release dates for those.
Right. Yeah.
They'll probably drop like around Black Friday.
Yeah, you'd think at least like a week or so before it, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, with I mean, as long as all those consoles have backwards compatibility, it's not like people won't be able to play it. That's not the issue.
Unless you're on PlayStation, which you can't.
Oh, PS5 has backwards compatibility. That's not get to. That's been confirmed somewhere. Yes, that has been confirmed. At least with PS4.
Okay.
Don't believe me? Okay, I'll make a note of that. PS5 backwards, and we'll talk about that after the show. No, right there. I just typed in. Cerny has also confirmed PS5 will be backwards compatible with PS4 games, as the two consoles are built upon similar internal architectures. So there you go.
Well, way to go.
So you're not losing stuff on that in that aspect.
Well, they're fine.
But the biggest thing is like you have these big meaty new consoles. You want to be able to play in like the best graphics possible that those consoles are capable of outputting, and the best sound, and the ray tracing we were talking about earlier.
I'm too late for that.
It's like that's the type of stuff now. I might beat the game before those versions even come out, and it's like, okay, I beat the game. Am I actually going to go back to the game to see how beautiful it looks?
Maybe, because think about it, because like especially Cyberpunk, that game is going to be so huge.
Yeah,
it's going to be huge. Your first playthrough of that, you're not going to get everything.
Isn't it supposed to be? I feel like I heard somewhere it's supposed to be like the same size as Witcher 3 map, or even slightly bigger. It's just like in a more compact area. Like,
I don't know.
I think that's what I've heard. Like it's actually like smaller, in a flat sense. Like the map is, I don't know the word I'm thinking of, but it's just more vertical. It's vertical, like with the layers and floors and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Which is insane to think like. That's a huge city. If it's
build the world up instead of
out.
If
it's the same area as Witcher 3, but in like one city. It's like, holy crap, that's huge.
But yeah, I mean, so I don't think it's gonna hurt its sales at all. I don't think that's. I don't. Especially if both consoles are backwards compatible. Yeah, as you're saying.
Yeah.
Then we should be okay.
Right. Another thing with the Cyberpunk news, which is kind of a bummer, and this is. CD Projekt Red's only people who have come out and talked about this, but I imagine this would affect some of these other delays as well. But CD Projekt Red confirmed that Cyberpunk 2070 team, I cannot talk. Cyberpunk 2077 team will work longer hours despite the additional time this period. Known in the industry as crunch remains one of the core issues, and this is a weird sentence. Basically, they're going to be crunching. They're going to be working crazy hours and overtime like the next few months because everyone's like, oh, good, they're getting a delay. That just means it's going to help them get the game done on a more balanced time frame. And they came right out and said like, no, actually, we're going to be crunching and like working crazy hours for the next few months, which this is a huge issue in the industry. Like they've gotten in trouble before about The Witcher 3 and everything, and like how bad the crunch was at that point. There's huge exposés that came out. They came out and were like gave statements saying, we're not going to do it again, all this stuff, and then here they are, like, sorry, in order to finish Cyberpunk, not only are we delaying it, but we're going to kill our workers now. Well, like it's such a bummer.
Let's be honest, it's kind of one of the hazard, one of the hazards of the job. I mean, because video game developers especially have very high turnover, because when a studio gets started on a game, you have all these people working on the game, and then when you're done working on the game, only some of you stay to work on the DLC while the rest of you get let go. Mm-hmm. So it sucks that they're going to have time, take that time away from their families, but they're not the only studio that does this.
No, yeah, and that's the thing, and that's what I was saying. In the grand scheme of things, like I imagine all these studios are going to be like, I guarantee you, Square Enix is doing it. I guarantee you, some of these other delays that are happening, they're do it. But I don't know. It just it's just a bummer. Like I don't know a fix for it, but because there's such horrible repercussions to crunch. Like some people come out on the other side, they're okay. Like they just lose some sleep and maybe get sick a couple times in there because they're just overworking themselves. But people come out and like, yeah, they like, their wife will leave them and with their kids and stuff, or they get horrible illnesses, not just like a cold. Like they'll come out and be like from stress-induced illnesses and stuff, or having to go see like a therapist after this because it's just like they're so messed up mentally. Like there's some horrible repercussions from crunch. So it's just a bummer when we know for a fact that they're going to be exposing their employees to that. It's like, man, there needs to be a better way. Like obviously no one's figured it out or else they'd be doing it. But
yeah, I mean, you know as a game developer going in that these are the hazards of the job. Yeah. Just like, deep sea fishermen know that you could probably just die. Your boat could capsize or you get eaten by a whale.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Oh, good call.
All the time.
All the time. All the time fishermen are eaten by whales.
Yeah. I mean, look at my boy Jonah, he came out okay.
Yeah, he survived it. No big deal. Yeah. No, you're right. Like, it's not like people don't know that going into it, but
it sucks.
It's this kind of.
But it's the world we live in.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
I don't mean to sound heartless. I sound really heartless. Yeah.
But I guess I was more surprised that they just straight up came out and were just like, yeah, this is what we're doing. Like they didn't even try to hide it. Like a lot of companies want to hide it. They're just like,
well, and they do
until they get in trouble or until they get called out, basically.
Yeah.
And
which is
Project Red is just like, no, this is what we're doing. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's get into these last two delays here. So Marvel's Iron Man VR was delayed. So this was, let me find. I have so many tabs open right now. It was delayed. It was really supposed to come out February 28th. So just next month, about a month away. Now it's coming out May 15th, 2020. So it's still coming out.
Still not bad.
That's like late spring, almost a summer there. But Camouflage, which is a developer who is working on it, tweeted, in order to deliver on our vision and meet the high expectations of our amazing community, we've made the difficult decision to move Marvel's Iron Man VR to a May 15th, 2020 release. We truly appreciate your patience and understanding. You'll be hearing from us again soon.
Which is totally fine.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Again, and that's what kind of everyone's had the same gist. Like everyone's working on it because they want to bring the best game possible.
There's a lot riding on this VR game.
Yeah, especially like it's being published by PlayStation, I believe. Like this is PlayStation first party. So this is kind of a big deal. It's like you don't want it to come out and be garbage.
Yeah, so VR walks this really thin line where your game is either really, really good or it's really, really terrible. Like I haven't played a VR game where I've been like, oh, that was kind of middle of the road. It's either a full-on immersive experience or it isn't. And there's such
garbage.
Yeah, there's such a if you don't, so like for them to kind of be like, yep, no, we'll just pump the brakes a little bit and make sure we get it right, because especially if this game, Iron Man, if it does do really well, like if it is like on the money, it's going to be one of the top selling VR games ever. Yeah,
like from what I've heard from people who've actually been able to demo it and play it, like if you feel like Iron Man, like I forget where it was, if it's like GDC or maybe like E3 or something, but they had a demo set up and like you feel like Iron Man, you're putting your hands down and hitting the buttons to like rocket through the air and steer, and it's like detecting everything. And man, like that just sounds so stinking cool.
I hope
like
it comes to Oculus. I just want to play it.
Iron Man, like, so I hope they can hunker down, get it done. Don't work too hard, no crunch. No need to work overtime, but make it good, because like you said, like it's a fine line, and if they can nail it, like the more and more they can solidify PlayStation VR, I'm excited of what that means for the future of basically, okay, if they can nail some of these games and really make a name for themselves, like PlayStation will be more apt to come out with the VR2, which hopefully would be wireless or something. Like there's so many like quality of life changes that could be done to PlayStation VR that I hope they eventually do, as long as VR continues to thrive. Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens with the PS5 VR, because I don't like the Move controllers.
Yeah, that too. It's pretty garbage.
And if they can actually just use like even like the Oculus touch controllers are really nice. I haven't played the Vive controllers, but like if they could just mimic something like those touch controllers on PlayStation VR, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, at this point, the only announcement for VR is just that the old VR will be compatible with PS5, but I don't know. I really hope they eventually announce whatever, PSVR 2 or whatever it is. Although I'm sure it won't be anytime soon because they don't want to cannibalize any sort of, news going towards a PlayStation 5. Like as soon as you start throwing PSVR 2 and PS5, all these numbers and new consoles come out, you're going to start confusing all the grandparents out there buying stuff for their grandkids.
We got you a PSVR. That's what you wanted.
Like, no, I can't even play this thing. I don't have a PS5. Oh man.
Yeah.
And last but not least, another game delayed just this morning as a recording on the 20th. Dying Light 2 delayed indefinitely.
That makes me so sad. That definitely makes it sound like it's never coming out.
Yeah, this one doesn't even...
It's probably just going to come out like next year.
Most likely it's coming out, I imagine, next year. Because from what I've heard, like there's pretty substantial demos out there. Like at E3, people have seen a lot of gameplay.
Yeah.
But from Polygon over here, Dying Light 2 Techland's follow-up to its open-world zombie action game from 2015 has been pushed back. The Polish publisher announced on Monday that the sequel will not make it its originally scheduled release window of spring 2020. So it didn't even have a solid release date, right? It was a spring 2020. But now it says we were initially aiming for a spring 2020 release with Dying Light 2, but unfortunately we need more development time to fulfill our vision. Techland CEO Paweł Marchuka, I believe that it says. That's an interesting last name. A note posted to the franchise's Twitter account. He added, "Our priority is to deliver an experience that lives up to our own high standards and to the expectations of you, our fans." So there's no new time frame. It just says we have more details to share in the coming months. It's currently in development for PS4, Windows PC, and Xbox One. So, man, yeah, that's a bummer one.
Did you play the first one?
So yeah, here's a confession time. I played a demo. There was demos. I think there's a demo on PS5 that you can play. And I played that demo over and over again.
You played a demo on PS5?
Or 4, sorry.
I was going to say, PS4. I was like, what?
I have a PS5.
What?
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell PlayStation I slept. But no, yeah, I think it's on PS4. Well, yeah, it was 2015 game, so it
was like
PS4.
one of the launch games.
But yeah, I played a demo and I really enjoyed the demo. Played a ton of it. It was one of those things where like I actually played the demo like a couple times over, which sounds stupid. Like I should just buy the game. I sound like I'm like a poor like high school student or something. Like or middle school. I had to ask my parents to buy the game for me.
PlayStation disc with all the demos on it. That's all you have.
Like a little Pizza Hut demo disc. That's all I was stuck with the Pizza Hut demo, and that's all I got. It's got to play Ape Escape over and over and over again. The same 2 missions.
Same Twisted Metal mission. Anyway, go ahead.
I love the demo. I love what I played, and I think JJ's played it, and he really enjoyed it. But I just never pulled the trigger on picking it up. I don't know.
It's a good game.
Why. It was just one of those things it's one of those things where it was easy with my backlog. Just kind of forget that one. Like there's so much other games I felt like that ranked higher. As I was like, I'll play it eventually, and now it's like the second one's eventually coming out soon, and it's like, oh man, maybe I should play that.
But
yeah,
no,
you like it though?
I liked it a lot.
Okay.
I like the multiplayer in it.
Oh, I did not realize it was multiplayer. That's cool.
Yeah. So I know you have it on PlayStation, which is a bummer because if you had it on Xbox, we could jump in each other's worlds and then like we can fight zombies and parkour all the way around. Okay. But that was the funniest thing about it for me was like the parkour.
Yeah, that's what I remember from the demo. Like doing the tutorial, I'm like, this is pretty cool. You can just go anywhere pretty much, like climbing all over things.
Until nighttime. In which case, I just wait. I never go out at night.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you run in like the big monsters? Does the demo show you the nighttime monsters?
I think it did. I could be completely wrong. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe I actually played a copy. Maybe I borrowed it from a friend. But I'm pretty sure it was a demo. Yeah, and I do remember the nighttime and there being. I just remember being crap ton of zombies. I don't remember any like big monsters or anything like that. But I remember like whatever vertical slice they give you is just
let's put it this way.
Insane zombies.
It's called Dying Light for a reason. Because as soon as the light dies, you die. You die. Because these huge, massive, like super scary zombies come out. Like they can't come out during the daytime because of the sun. So, or any light. So you have to try to outrun, and emphasis on try, because they are really, really fast. So when you hear them and they're like screaming at you,
no.
you're like, get to the light, get to the light.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying. This second one sounded cool too, because from what I heard from like E3, excuse me, behind closed doors stuff, was that they're adding like this huge system where decisions you make like completely alter the game. Like I don't know if you heard any of this stuff, but basically,
oh yes,
like
I did.
there's like the main mission I keep hearing about is like they would talk about this mission where you can choose to like work with these different factions. One faction wants you to turn the water on, like so they can have water and survive. The other one says, no, don't turn it on. I forget what their reasoning was. Like,
we need to control the water.
Yeah, we don't want you to turn it on. Like, yeah, we want control. And depending on which you chose, like completely altered, like if you turned it on, I think what happened, it would actually like completely flood like that area where the other group lived or something like that. And so like it would just wreck their homes and like they would all die or they'd all disappear. They'd all
come at you and try to hunt you down.
they would all leave and like you'd never be able to interact with them again because that whole section of the map is like gone and flooded now.
Huh.
And then you're all buddy with this group, or like vice versa. If you don't turn it on, well, you're all buddy with them and you get actually kind of like free access to some of the water and stuff like that, but then this other group like doesn't like you. But there's like there's perks. Dehydration. There's perks to like either side to like, oh man, if I don't turn on the water and keep it for these people, then like they're willing to give you like certain upgrades and stuff that could be beneficial. And I don't know, cool. It's just cool stuff like that where we could play completely different games. Like I could completely wipe out this town with my flooding this area or something, and never have to even talk with them, deal with them. And for you, like you might have gone to the dark side and kept the water from the good people.
I can't do that. I have tried to play games, especially like Mass Effect, where you
play it bad.
Play it as like Renegade.
Right.
I can never commit. I can't do it all the way.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I've never been able to do like Fallout or anything like that.
Like I don't want to be
bad. Like no, I can't do it. I get like
I'm a nice
2
guy.
hours in and I'm like, I'm sorry, like apologizing.
Do the right thing.
Like I'm okay, I'll come back.
I even tried being bad in like Red Dead Redemption, and I'm like, I don't want to shoot you, man. Just get out of here.
Just go. Just go. Oh man. So we are done with the delay apocalypse. I'm glad we all survived that.
Wow, that was rough.
Yeah, it was rough, but man, no one turned. There's no zombies here yet.
I'm like
We'll see. We'll see what other games get bit on the way.
You're like the Daryl of the delay apocalypse.
I like that.
Without Daryl, I wouldn't be here.
Thanks, Daryl. I like that. You're welcome. Anything for you guys. So this story we kind of actually touched on last week a little bit, but I just want to read some of these statements like officially from Sony, and then E3 kind of had a response. So PlayStation will not be at E3 2020. This comes from GameIndustry.biz, this article that I found. PlayStation will miss E3 for a second year in a row. The firm told GameIndustry.biz that it does not feel the vision for the event is right for what it has planned for this year. Instead, it will attend hundreds of consumer events to showcase upcoming games for PS4 and PS5.
That's so politically well put.
Yeah.
Does not share the vision.
They have good PR people, After thorough evaluation, SIE has decided not to participate at E3 2020. We have a great respect for the ESA as an organization, but we do not feel the vision of E3 2020 is the right venue for what we have focused on this year. We will build upon our global event strategy in 2020 by participating in hundreds of consumer events across the globe. Our focus is on making sure fans feel part of the PlayStation family and have access to play their favorite content. We have a fantastic lineup of titles coming to PlayStation 4, and with the upcoming launch of PlayStation 5, we are truly looking forward to a year of celebration with our fans.
That's interesting. Hundreds of events.
Yeah, that's what really stood out to me. I wanted to kind of talk about that because
there's 5 major events?
Yeah, because at this point, there's like, is it Gamescom in Germany? There's Tokyo Game Show.
Tokyo.
Got that one. Are they going to start? Because they're usually not at PAX really. Like the developers will be, but is Sony going to start showing up at PAX?
Maybe.
So right there's like PAX East. Well, PAX East is already happening or happened this last weekend. I don't think they were there. So let's just say they come to, PAX South is happening right now. So maybe they show up at PAX East. Maybe they show up at PAX West. There's 4 events. Where's the other 96 events?
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to do...
Are they going to pull out their big truck and drive around the country again?
Maybe.
Do like PlayStation experiences, or they pull up in a parking lot and let people come?
That's what Nintendo did back in the day with... Or Nintendo, but Sega.
Yeah. Sony used to do it too. Like they have a truck. They've done it before. Like maybe they're going to dust it off.
That's a good idea.
Buff it out.
If I was Sony, Heck yeah.
Yeah, drive around, especially. Well, no, I was gonna say like that'd be sweet. Like show up, maybe let people see the PS5. I don't know. Like I don't think they'd have it playing.
Oh, they'd have it
necessarily.
playing. They'd have it playing.
You think they'd let people play PS5 early?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I don't
I mean,
know.
think about who's gonna. First of all, who's gonna show up just to see the PlayStation 5?
I would.
I can go online.
I would show up to take a picture.
I can go
of the PS5.
online and look up pictures.
I drive to San Francisco just to see the PS5.
Oh my gosh!
and bow down to the altar
like,
of Sony.
No, don't do that.
All hail Herman Holst.
This got really weird. That legit is a shrine. I thought he was kidding.
No.
He does.
That's my Kojima shrine back there. As soon as I get Death Stranding merch, that's going up there too.
No, don't. We're gonna have a talk after the show. But honestly, though, at the end of the day, okay, I can totally see them bringing the PlayStation 5, going on tour around the country, hitting up like all the major cities, and being like, hey, everybody get in line. You get 15 minutes of game time to check out. What's that? God's game.
Nobody knows. There's no way to find out either.
Yeah, whatever that game is.
I don't know.
One of their launch titles. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is.
God, I want to say Godsmack. That's not it.
That's not it.
God Eater? No. God something.
Doggone it. That's what it is.
Godfall.
There it is. Godfall. So it's kind of like almost like Godsmack.
I typed in PlayStation PS5 games in Google. Godfall comes out. Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, which we don't know that for sure.
That's not for sure. Sniper Elite 3.
And the third game that pops up is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Yes, bring back PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. That was their version of Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I know what version it is.
So good. So much better than Smash Brothers on the PS3, and it was a sad day when they took that off the PS4.
I'm happy you enjoyed it. It's not better than Smash Brothers.
It was pretty dang good.
It's good. It's not better than Smash Brothers.
No, you're right.
Was that?
But yeah,
I was right.
You're right. With let's see, with events though, I wonder if they're counting if they pull the truck out, obviously they can get 50, 60 events across the country over a summer or something. Are they counting because remember for PSVR they had demos set up across the country at Best Buys and stuff. Mm-hmm. Are they gonna count those as quote unquote
Probably.
events where they have the PS5 set up and hundreds of events?
It's PR speak. You know what I mean? Hundreds of could be anything, anywhere, anytime.
Right.
So who knows?
Yeah. We'll see.
Moral of the story is they will not be at E3.
Yeah, they're not going to be at E3, which the ESA responded to the news here. ESA spokesperson said E3 is a signature event celebrating the video game industry and showcasing the people, brands, and innovations redefining entertainment loved by billions of people around the world. E3 2020 will be an exciting, high-energy show featuring new experiences, partners, exhibitors, spaces, activations, programming that will entertain new and veteran attendees alike. Exhibitor interest in our new activations is gaining the attention of brands that view E3 as a key opportunity to connect with video game fans worldwide.
So ESA basically said.
So they didn't really address it at all. They're just hey, we're doing E3.
Space.
This is what it's about. Yeah, exactly.
We got space.
It was a big advertisement.
Please come give us money.
It was a big advertisement. Hey, we have all these cool people. You should be a cool person too. Come join our team. Come show up July 2020 or June. Is it June? I forget.
It's usually in May.
No. It is not May.
Google it.
No.
Google 2019. I bet my bottom dollar.
It's June. It's definitely
that
June.
May.
If you think it's May, it must be June then. E3 date. June 11th through 13th.
Wrong again.
We're just going back and forth. You were right about Smash Brothers. I'm right about E3.
Yeah, mine's an opinion. You can't be right about an opinion.
Wow. So yeah, it tends to be.
It's always in June.
Same
Why did I think it was always in May?
I don't know. You're jumping the gun there.
I failed. I got to turn in my gamer card.
Yeah, well, I guess this is the last time we hear Zech on the
Sorry,
podcast.
Guys.
Rest in
It's been
peace,
real.
Zech. Rest in peace.
Mm.
So yeah, there's that. Nothing more to add to that other than who knows what PlayStation is going to do. My hope
They'll probably set up a booth across
is
the
that
street.
yeah, pretty
That's
much.
what's gonna happen.
My hope is that they bring back PSX because PSX they did it 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
And the first year, I don't think I was living in California, so it wasn't even a thing. I was like, no way, I'm flying out for that. The second year, I was living in California, and the only reason I didn't go, because it's not that much to go. It was really inexpensive. I was like, I don't have any friends who would go with me, like drive down to Anaheim and go to PSX. And then the next year, I'm like, I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm going to drive down there.
Cancel.
And then they didn't do it. I'm like, no, why? I should have gone. It's literally like, this is, talk about worshiping Sony. Like, it's like
sacrilegious.
The pilgrimage to Mecca there, man. I couldn't do it. Maybe this year. Maybe this is the year.
Pilgrimage canceled.
Man. Next news story here. Let's move on real quick.
This should be a short one.
Yeah, this is just short. This is just announcing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's next fighter. The last fighter in this Season 1 fighter pack is Fire Emblem's Byleth, which was the character from...
Sounds like something you'd throw up.
Yeah.
Byleth.
Yeah, it is kind of gross sounding. Comes from the, I thought it would say here, 3 Houses. There it is. Fire Emblem 3 Houses. That was a game that came out just this last summer.
I've come this close to buying it so many times.
Everyone raved about it, how amazing it was.
I love Fire Emblem.
And I've never played a Fire Emblem game. Like, they were just always too intimidating to me. I'm like,
they're hard, but they're so good.
And I heard this one is pretty amazing, so... I'm not excited about this character. Like, I feel like there's already too many.
There's like a gajillion Fire Emblem characters.
Too many Fire. I saw a meme somewhere where it's like Ultimate instead of Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I think it said Super Fire Emblem Ultimate and Nintendo All Stars as well, or something like that.
Super Fire Emblem. Like, man, you guys really like your
so
Fire
many
Emblem
characters. So many Fire Emblem.
Which is a bummer because they've got a lot of characters to choose from in Nintendo.
Yeah.
Although, you know what I wish. I wish they would start pulling in like Golden Sun characters. You ever play Golden Sun?
I have not.
Oh man, Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance. That dominated probably more than my summer.
Dang.
I played that probably like for a full year, 1 and 2.
Oh, crazy.
It was like 40 hours for the first game. And when I was done with that, the second one like came out and it was like 60 hours for the second game.
Okay.
So I was like,
man,
yeah,
that's crazy.
But super cool characters. Like they each have like these elemental abilities. So getting some of them in there would be super awesome.
Yeah, that would be really cool. It sounds cool anyways. Excuse me. But yeah, so, and then they also announced that the next Season 2 pass, this one only had 5 characters. The next one will actually have 6 characters, so we'll get 1 extra character. But I think they will all be back. The date they gave was like, I don't know, December of 2021 or something. So like over the course of the next 2 years, we're going to get 6 characters. So they're really stretching this out. They're taking their sweet old time with that.
Well, they did say this was going to be didn't they say this was going to be the last Smash Brothers?
Yeah, but I feel like Sakurai says that. He said that a couple times. Like, this is probably going to be my last one. This is probably going to be my last one. I'm going to be retiring soon. And the next thing you know, he makes another one. He makes another one. And he's like made this one. This one seems like it'd be impossible to top. Like the only way they could make another one, because I can't imagine getting the licenses for all these characters. Like, it must be a pain. So to make a sequel to this with all of these characters plus more,
yeah,
I don't see that happening. I would imagine
unless they baked it into the current license agreement.
Maybe.
We get licenses to this one and future games.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It just sounds like a nightmare to me.
Yeah,
so
pretty penny.
We'll see. I would be fine, though, if this is it, and then from here on out, they just kind of like just port it or something like that. Just keep updating the graphics, maybe. If maybe they bake that into the agreements where...
Yeah.
It's just the same, iterating the same game and just updating graphics for new consoles because, I mean, there's so many freaking characters in this.
Yeah, how do you even choose?
So, yeah, that's the new character that you can look forward to the end of this month. I think it was the 28th or something like that. Not important because, no one's really that excited for Byleth, right? I'm going to get so many hate tweets. And then...
From Byleth.
Looking at the time here. Let's do these ones real quick.
Okay, real fast. I won't talk.
Google promises more than 10 Stadia timed exclusive by July 2020. Badoonts. That was a funny joke, huh? That's the headline over on Eurogamer. Google has promised more than 10 Stadia timed exclusives will be released by July 2020, but it failed to name the games. I like that the article says that. So more than 120 games are due to hit Google streaming service in 2020. Google promised. Man, that's like all these like kind of like backhanded kind of statements here a little bit.
Well, they're very front-handed.
Yeah, it's not really trying to hide it all, I guess. Looking at our upcoming lineup, we are tracking more than 120 games coming to Stadia in 2020 and are targeting more than 10 games on the first half of this year alone. That will be only available on Stadia when they launch. Google said in a note to the press today. So yeah, basically the only thing I really want to talk about is Google Stadia really sucks, huh? Like it kind of came out and was a dud, and they haven't really been too forward about fixing some of those things, I feel like.
This is classic.
Like, starting in 2020, it was supposed to be open to the public. It was only supposed to be 2 or 3 months of exclusivity to the founders people, and then it's supposed to be free in 2020. And here we are, almost the end of January, still nothing about it going free to everyone.
They are in transition. They're losing their CEOs.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, both of them are their founders, I think, are stepping down.
Okay.
But nonetheless, Google Stadia is everything I thought it would be.
It's garbage.
It's a mess.
I know,
Stay in your lane, Google.
this time last year, JJ and I were so stoked. Like, we were just like, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be great. We'll never have to, buy another game again. Or buy another console again. We'll just use our computers. And then as it got closer, it was one of those things you're like, you can read it in the tea leaves. You're just like, yeah, okay, this isn't anything like what they're going to say. Like, they're promising way too much. And sure enough, 3 days before it came out, they backpedaled so hard. Like, people, to the point where people are
it was
nope.
When I think 3 of the games that were on launch weren't they just Tomb Raider games or something? 3
of them, yeah. It was 3 Tomb Raider games. And even so the original Tomb Raider game, it came out in 2008 or 9 or something. And there's a bunch of games. A lot of the games were old games. Everything was early 2010s or
nothing
around
really
that
new.
area. There was only 1 or 2 new games, if that. It was really sad. I don't know. We'll see. So nothing more to add to that other than
it's okay.
I'd rather you show me something and not just say something. Prove it to me. Give me a title.
We got 10 games coming.
Yeah.
10 exclusive games.
Cool. Nice talking, but let's show me.
You got your Celeste coming. You got
just
right. A bunch
That's
of
what it'll be. It'll be a bunch of well, no, because it is exclusives.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so it can't be Celeste.
But even still,
Celeste 2.
And even that, in the note, they kind of allude to it's just a timed exclusive. So it'll be exclusive. It could be anywhere from a month to a couple of years, I guess, but we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Google Stadia will get back on track.
I don't know.
Maybe. Give it a year.
I hope when xCloud comes out, they just go away. That's what I would like.
Me too.
If Xbox, the xCloud comes out and just kills it, that would be fantastic.
Leave gaming to the grown-ups.
Right? And then
by grown-ups, I mean the kids.
The kids. the big man children. Sources... this is kind of a weird headline to read. It's fine to read in your head, but not say out loud. So I'm just going to read the main part of this. Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC.
Sources say.
Yeah, there we go. I fixed your title, Jason Schreier. You're welcome. Over at Kotaku, Jason talks about how the PlayStation 4 exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn will come to personal computers this year, sources tell Kotaku. It's an unprecedented move for Sony that signals a future in which the publisher releases games on platforms beyond its own consoles. So there's no date or anything at this point. Sony hasn't officially confirmed this, but some apparently anonymous and knowledgeable higher-ups kind of talking about, hey, this is going to be coming to PC, which at this point, I think I mentioned earlier, it makes sense because this game's made in the Decima engine, which also happens to be the same engine that Death Stranding used, and they've already been announced for PC release this summer as well. So it's kind of they're already developing the technology to export their games to a PC platform. Why wouldn't you bring over Horizon Zero Dawn? Especially with all the rumors that the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn could be either a launch title or sometime in that launch year for PS5. That's a lot of people are speculating the sequel could be coming within the next year and a half.
And
to get most people playing, you might as well.
Yeah. Side note.
Yes.
If Horizon Zero Dawn comes out on PlayStation 5,
my wife, sequel or the original?
The sequel.
Okay, yeah.
If it comes out on PlayStation 5, my wife will flip a lid if I don't get a PlayStation before next month. She loves Horizon.
One of us. Yeah. Join us.
I might not have any other option. My marriage or a PlayStation 5.
Yes.
Tough choices, guys.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I've actually, I'll talk about it and what you plan a little more, but started back up in the first one. And it's a really...
The only one currently.
Yeah, the only one currently. But yeah, it's such a fun game. So if you have a PC, pick it up. Like it's a cool game. I haven't finished it. That's why I'm playing through it again. I just started it over. But from everything I've heard, it's a lot of people's like it's high. It's up there in a lot of people's games.
It's pretty good. My opinion, and if I'm being actually honest, this might just be because I love. Maybe we can save it for when we jump into the what you're playing. But Breath of the Wild is better, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yes, but they're different games completely. I feel like you can't really compare them.
We'll get into it.
Okay. Granted, here I'm the one talking about it, and I haven't beat it, but from what I've played of Breath of the Wild and Horizon, I feel like they're not really the same. But we'll talk about it later. We'll see. So yes, that is all the news we have for you this week. You know what usually happens though is come tomorrow, a bunch of stuff happens, and then this episode comes out Wednesday, and we have to talk about it next week. So
sorry, guys.
Let's hope nothing comes out on Tuesday. Let's get into some new releases real quick. Originally, I put on the notes nothing worth talking about, but I've heard a lot of talk about this Dragon Ball Z Kakarot for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. Came out on January 17th. I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan, not because I don't like it. I've just never really watched it. Never got around to watching it.
Yeah, same.
I've heard it's amazing, and maybe one day I'll check it out and then I'll play this game. But everyone who's playing this game, I'm only hearing amazing things about it. Like everyone's loving this new RPG based off the Dragon Ball Z series. So
it's an RPG? I thought it's not a fighting game?
No, yeah, I think it's from what I've understood, it is a more RPG elements and stuff to it. Kakarot is a semi-open world action role-playing game developed by CyberConnect 2 and published by Bandai Namco.
Huh.
Yeah, so people are really loving it.
That could be cool.
Yeah, because most other of their Dragon Ball games are fighting games, right?
Yeah, Budokai and Fighters.
The Xenoverse stuff. And
yeah, I liked Dragon Ball Fighters. That's probably one of my all-time favorite fighting games.
Is it Fighters or Fighter Z?
I heard it was Fighters.
Is it Fighters? Okay. I don't know. It's just when you look at the way it's stylized, it's like Dragon Ball Fighters with a capital F and then all lowercase and a huge capital Z. Yeah. So it almost makes it look like it's two separate words. Like
there's no space though.
That's
like that's what makes it confusing.
Well, that's what makes it confusing. It's like why is it uppercase and but why isn't there any space? Like what's going on?
Like I don't know.
But yeah, I heard that game was actually really good.
It's really,
again, I haven't tried it because I'm not a Dragon Ball fan. But
are you a fighting game man?
A little bit. No, not really. I just never got. I like Soul Calibur back in the day.
Yeah.
I like Soul Calibur 5. I think was the last one I played.
Is that just because Ivy was in it?
No, not really.
No, okay. It is actually a really good fighting game.
I wasn't one of those people. But yeah, I don't know. Fighting games just never really. I enjoy them. Like whenever I grab one. Like even back in the day, I remember on our like PlayStation 1 having Mortal Kombat 3.
Oh yeah.
And just stuff like that was always fun to goof around in. But I was never good at them. So I was just like, I'm good. Like I'll just steer clear of this genre. I'd rather do that than get my butt kicked.
I think I'm good at them, and then I play people that are good at them.
Like, oh shoot!
I'm like, I am not good. Never mind. I'm not good.
Like me with Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
It's like I'm so good at this. Nope, I suck.
Yeah, I think Mortal Kombat's the only one that I can actually beat my brother at. My brother's a really good gamer. He's he literally has been gaming since he was 2 years old, and like he's far and away like the best multiplayer gamer. Like I can play single player games better than he can, like platformers and stuff. But any competitive gameplay, he's much better.
Dang.
So he beats me in a lot of fighting games, except Mortal Kombat.
That's funny.
Yeah,
you got lock on that one.
I feel good. I feel good.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, let's get into what you playing. So why don't you go first? Tell us what you've been playing.
Okay. So I'll keep it brief. I've been playing through Pokemon Shield. Did I say Pokemon? Pokemon.
Almost lost my water there.
Sorry. I've been playing through Pokemon Shield. Ever since they announced the... I was kind of already playing it, but now I'm taking it more serious because they got the expansion coming out. That already is out.
Is it out already?
Yeah, they give you an option to buy it in the game now.
What?
And so I'm pretty stoked about that. I really want to pick that up. But I've been playing through that. I have 3 kids. I mean, I'm sure people probably know that by now, but so they like to watch me play games, and a lot of the games I own, they can't watch me play because they have a lot of blood or swearing and just very rated M. And so I've been trying to find more games that I can play in front of my kids. Mm-hmm. So I picked up Kingdom Hearts 3, and I picked up Kingdom Hearts The Story So Far.
Oh yeah.
So.
Are you starting with 1, working your way all the way through 3?
I was going to.
That's a rough journey.
But I was like, never mind. I was going to start in 3. So I've been playing through 3, and the kids just love watching me play that game because the graphics are really high fidelity. Like,
from what I heard, it's basically like especially Pixar sections, like watching a Pixar movie, basically.
Exactly. So it's like really, really cool. So I've been playing through that. I'm like, I don't know. The only thing that's annoying about it so far, I think I'm like 4 hours in, and essentially the game is just one really big cutscene. Yeah. Like I feel like I've watched more cutscene than I've actually played. I don't like that. Like it's kind of annoying, but the kids like it, so I'll sit down and kind of play it if I'm just trying to keep them kind of mellow.
Right.
And then this weekend I finished Metroid Prime 1 again for like the umpteenth time. My son, my oldest, he really likes watching me play that game, so.
That's awesome.
I finally finished it, fought the last boss. Like, all right, Isaac, here we go. We're going to fight the last boss.
That's awesome.
So he sees Meta Ridley fly, and he's like, whoa, Dad, look at the size of that boss. I'm like, I know. That's Ridley. And so I fight him, and then I jump down the crater, and then I show him Metroid Prime, and Metroid's like this big spidery thing, right? Mm-hmm. So he's like, whoa, like he jumps up. Like we're sitting on the ground. He's like, whoa, Dad. Look at the size of that
one. That's so great. Like when your kids get so stoked about something. Like my son's getting to the age, like he's just like 2.5 now, but he'll see something. He's like, wow. Like he's starting to do that now. It's so funny. It's so hilarious. Like the things that like just get them all jazzed. Like they're just like freaking out. Like this is awesome. Like they can't contain it.
I know. He's like so jumping up. He's like jumping up and down. He's like, one more hit, Dad. One more hit. You almost got him.
It's like your little cheerleader. That's so awesome.
It was the best. It's probably the best experience I've ever had playing through that game. So now we're gonna go through the second one.
Okay.
And then I also have the third one. So
some say the best one.
The third one?
The second one.
Second one? It's good. I mean, here's the thing. Like,
that's just me. That's because it's the only one I've played. I think most people don't like the second one, but
it's not bad. The second one suffers from kind of some of the things the first one suffered from, which is like sometimes you get in like a dark spot and you can't see anything at all, and so you have to like shoot your gun.
The whole game's about like the dark side of everything.
Yeah, so like half the game is like, wow, this is really kind of cool. The other half is like, I can't see.
I can't see what's happening.
I can't see.
Turn the brightness up. That was always the best though on the big tube TV back in the day, and turn the brightness up. Everything just kind of turns gray. It's like I can see outlines a little bit better, I guess.
And what I learned is just shoot your gun and it'll light up like the area.
You just like charge shot.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
That's awesome.
It's been fun.
I just looked up the DLC for Pokemon. So I think there's a free update that came out for stuff, but the actual like Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra are coming later. So end of June is Isle of Armor. Okay. And then Crown Tundra is coming fall. Doesn't have a month, but just fall.
I'm really happy you pointed that out because I literally almost bought that the other night.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like,
hold off on it. Hold off on it. You don't need it.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's like a bonus to pre-ordering some stuff.
How am I even on this show? Like, I don't know anything.
You'll get there. Well, I mean, JJ was on this show. God rest his soul.
I'm kidding.
I mean, if he can be on this show, anyone can be on this show, right? just
poor
saying.
JJ. He's not even here to defend himself.
No, I'll get it on Thursday or Wednesday. It was last week Wednesday. He's like, oh, listen to the episode. This thing's awesome. You guys did great. Blah blah blah. So I'll probably hear it this Wednesday.
Yeah.
When he listens to it, he's like, dude, you totally threw me into the bus like every 15 minutes.
Yeah,
like
what's the
deal? Oh no. Okay. Cool. Well, I've been playing kind of 3 games. I don't have a lot of time most of the time, but like I said at the beginning of the show, I had a really restful, chill weekend, which was awesome. So I kicked my weekend off with Friday night. I jumped into Minecraft on Switch. So this is a game that previously on the show I've talked about. I never played Minecraft up until like 6 or 7 months ago. Like I avoided it for like the last 10 years it's been out because to me it's like that's a baby game. Like I'm gonna play a little kid game. It's stupid Minecraft. Like I'd make fun of people and everything. Like, it's so dumb. Like when I heard adults play it, I'm like, really? That's a baby game. And then my brother-in-law was like, hey, do you play Minecraft? I'm like, no, that's a baby game. He's like, oh, well, I play it. I'm like,
well, that hurts.
Oh, okay, cool. He's like, no, he's been playing it, and he has a son who I think is 4 now, maybe turning 5 soon. I think the next couple of weeks or something. So in that 4 or 5 age range, and my brother-in-law's been playing it like with him, like his more like. He's not old enough necessarily to be playing on PC and stuff, like figuring out mouse and keyboard and stuff, but they just have fun like doing it together and like the son just watching and like pointing things out and talking like, oh, do this, do that, oh, this would be cool, or watch out for that, and kind of the experience that you're having with Metroid with your son. Doing that with Minecraft though. It's a game that doesn't have any blood or gore, and even the violence is like cartoony and goofy.
You can even
and
turn it off. You
and,
can even play it without it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And anyways, he's just like, oh, you should get on your computer. We should play. I'm like, actually, they just added crossplay. So
we can play together, bro.
Switch and Xbox and PC, and I think even in the last couple months now, PS4.
You can get it on your phone too, right?
Yes, on your phone, but I don't think it's crossplay. So it's just PC, Xbox, PS4, and Switch are crossplay now. So I bought it on Switch. He had it on PC, and we played, and it was so much fun. But anyways, this weekend, my brother got back into it. Well, it was earlier last week. He got back into it, and he like in the course of like 24 hours, he had this whole world built up before I even was able to join him. Like so, Friday night, like I joined him. I'm like, "How long have you been playing this game?" He's like, "I don't know, like today and a little bit yesterday or something." I'm like, "You need to get a life, dude." Like, I mean, he has a life. He's in the Army. He's stationed somewhere, like he's got stuff he needs to be doing, but in his downtime, which being Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend here, he had 4 days off, so he was able to spend like 4 solid days in Minecraft because he had nothing else to do, like other than eat meals, sitting at the barracks with nothing better to do. So yeah, we teamed up though. I jumped on my Switch, had it up on the TV, and he was on his computer, and we jumped in Discord, and it was really cool to just jump in. I don't know, it's just really cool to find a game that me and my brother can play, because he isn't like a super gamer like me. Like he's not super into all, like he doesn't need a PlayStation or Xbox or PC. Like he's very particular about what games he likes. He likes more RTS type stuff, so like Warhammer 40K, the RTS games they came out with, that Dawn of War, like we were super into together, or stuff like Minecraft, or silly stuff like that. So to find something that like we have this have in common, and we don't necessarily get to talk a lot because he's different time zone doing Army stuff, and I'm in a different time zone doing my full-time job and a kid and stuff. So it's cool just to have like a night where we spent, I don't know, 5 hours or so playing, like I stay up till like midnight, 1 o'clock, just playing Minecraft with my brother on Discord, just chit-chatting back and forth and building stuff. And I don't know how to play the game still. I'm super bad at it. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. He's like, oh, just blah, 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 blah. And he like knows exactly what to do. I'm like, cool, okay, cool, awesome. And then I'd go do it. But it was just a blast. It was just really cool to find a game that I could bond with my brother over, because that just doesn't happen a lot, especially since we don't live anywhere near each other.
Yeah.
Like my family's very spread out. Like, my brother is, somewhere else stationed. My parents are over in Papua New Guinea. Like we're kind of spread out around the world. So it's like cool when we can find those things to like connect. Let's see. The other game I played was Death Stranding. This is a game I've been updating you all over the last couple months on my progress, and I can finally tell you that I have finished Death Stranding at pretty much around 50 hours. So I am stoked about that. And man, like I said earlier, it was on my number one game of the year for last year, just from what I'd played up until that point. But man, finishing up this last week and a half, it 100% confirmed, like, okay, yeah, this game was freaking game of the year last year. Like in the last, so it was ironic, like the last two missions, I played for maybe like 30 minutes, but then there's like 2.5 hours of cutscenes, basically. Like, that's the Kojima way. But man, in those like 3 hours that I played, or 3.5 hours, maybe it's more like an hour I played. An hour I played and like 2.5 hours of cutscenes. I was up until like 2:30 in the morning finishing it up because it just like it wasn't stopping. It was like one cutscene, another one, another. I'm like, I'm so in right now. This is so
you
good.
can't stop.
You can't stop. You can't save it. It's just like it's either continue or skip, and I'm not gonna skip the cutscene. Then I won't get to see it. But man, in those last 3 hours, 4 hours that I was playing, it was such a freaking emotional roller coaster. Like up until then, even the story had already gripped me. Like I was so into the story. As off the wall as it is, if you can just like get over the fact that it's goofy and weird, it's a fun story. Like I think it's a really fun story. Like if you can get over the craziness of it, it's like, yeah, it's weird and it's off the wall and maybe a little pretentious, but it's like, it's still like, I don't know, so stinking fun for the ride. And then yeah, those last couple hours, I mean, it had me like straight up just like tearing up, like crying. Like I was like, holy cow, I can't believe this is happening, like 2 or 3 times, like in that span. And then there's moments of the joy where you're just like, heck yeah, like that's freaking awesome. Like, and sometimes in the same moment, like you're just like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, am I seeing this? And then they like reveal something like, oh my gosh, like, oh man, this is so amazing. Like it is so good. It was such an amazing like fanfare finale there. It was just like fireworks, great, not actual fireworks, but It was just so incredible, the like way to end that game. I'm super happy with the game. And it was funny, I took the disc out the other day and Trudy's like, so that's it, you're done? Like, I don't know, she was just like, it was this weird like kind of like air in the house where it's like, as I take it out, like very respectfully, and like Trudy's just like, so you're done, huh? I'm like, for now. And I like put it in the case and put it back up in its shrine. But
did you get like the big deluxe special edition version of that?
No, I want to so bad. I already own the game, but I've talked to Trudy a couple times. I'm like, it's only like $200, and then I get a baby. I get a life-size BB case. Like, of course I want that. You look really nice up on her shelf over here, having a baby floating in a bottle. Yeah. But man, yeah, that game is amazing. I know the gameplay may not be for everyone, but the story is so stinking good. I want to do some research, because even if there's like, people on YouTube will sometimes just do all the cutscenes, like even just to like watch it, break it up, and it's like watch episodes of it basically. Like I would recommend that if you could, because even the story is like pretty dang crazy. Like by the end, I'm like, oh my gosh, like mind blown. I did not see that coming. Like there's some cool twists and turns, and even like it thinks that it's psyching you out too. You're like, oh shoot, it just and then it like psychs back, and you're like, oh, there's just so many things.
Double psych.
Yeah, there's so many elements in there too. Like I feel like I'm not spoiling anything, because there's a lot to the story. Like it's pretty crazy, but yeah, go play that game. It's a good one. And because I finished that, I'm like, heck, there's potentially a Horizon 2 coming out for PS5 at the end of this year, or sometime next year. I need to finish Horizon Zero Dawn, the first one. So that's what I did this weekend. Is as soon as I finished up Death Stranding, I popped that disc out the next day, re-downloaded, I have a digital copy of Horizon, and jumped in that. And dude, that game is so stinking beautiful.
It's a good game.
The combat is so much fun.
It's very fluid.
It had been so long since I played. I'm like, I'm just going to start back from the beginning. Like I forgot where the story even was. So I'm like starting everything over. And that's the next one I'm planning on beating. So
I'm going to give you a pro tip right now. You get a special super armor in that game. Mm-hmm. Do everything you can to get that armor.
Okay.
Because like the end of the game will be so much easier if you have that armor.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. So yeah, that's what I played. Pretty eventful weekend for me for video games. Usually I don't get to play so much, so it's kind of cool.
I'm going to be honest. You got me psyched for Death Stranding. After I know Pokemon, I'll go back and try to finish that.
You should try. I don't know. It's one of those things, and I've said it over and over again in the last few months. Like, I know it's not for everyone. Like, I'll give it that. Like, it's not a game for everyone, but I think everyone should at least try it because I don't know. Like for me, it grabbed me right at the beginning. Some people it grabs later. Like some people have to play a little farther in, which is, I don't know. I think it's worth getting through. The story really had me at the end there. I was shocked. Like I wasn't expecting an emotional response from a Hideo Kojima game. I think I even said that in my tweet because it's like, Hideo Kojima game got me to cry. Because even the Metal Gear games have some emotional moments, but it was still like, it never like grabbed me. Like God of War made me sob at the end.
Yeah.
And then even like Spider-Man at the end, like, oh man, like that hit me hard and stuff like that.
Spider-Man.
And
Last of Us.
Yeah, The Last of Us, like so crazy. But then, like Kojima games are just like, okay, these are fun, goofy, like whatever things, crazy, off the wall. But yeah, so I was not expecting that from this game, and it got me.
Now, were you crying, or was it just like an allergic reaction to the
it's actually I can't even Corellium. Is that
Corellium?
What it's called,
Sounds like a planet in Star Wars.
Right.
It's a Corellium spaceship.
Pretty close. Yeah. Maybe it's in the Star Wars universe all along. Alrighty, guys. Let's get into the last segment here. Topic of the show. I threw this out there for Zech and I to kind of do some quick discussion here at the end. I want to talk about our favorite game of the decade, and we both put multiple games, kind of like
I put runner-ups.
Yeah, like runner-ups. And I wanted to emphasize favorite game because you said you saw that it said favorite game, but I feel like you keep criticizing me saying like as if it's said best game. It did not say best game.
No, you're right.
These are not the best.
Misunderstood.
These are not the best games. These are your favorite games of the past decade, because we're in a new, we've flipped over 2020. This is considered a new decade for gaming, apparently, even though I feel like the decade should go from, 10 to 20. I feel like there should still be.
I agree. I don't think we're at the end of the decade. I think next year is technically the start of the new decade, because you don't count 0 to 10 as 10 years.
Right, yeah.
You count 1 to 10.
I don't know.
Math is hard for some people.
Some people can't figure it out. But anyways, what was some of your favorites from the last decade?
Okay.
You can do it in any order you want. I don't care if you give your top one or if you want to give your runner-up.
I'm going to give my runner-ups first.
Okay.
For my favorite games, would have to be Mass Effect 2. Okay. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Actually, no. I wrote this out of order. That's actually my favorite game of the year.
Okay.
Of the decade. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The Last of Us would be runner-up number 2.
Okay.
Actually, runner-up number 1. Runner-up number 2 would be Pokemon Go.
Really? Pokemon Go?
Think about that for a second, okay? This is why Pokemon Go. Not Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the mobile game Pokemon Go.
Okay.
Okay?
That still shocks me a little bit.
Here's why. Okay, when Pokemon... Now I get all situated.
I was thinking Let's Go, but even saying Go almost makes it worse for me now. Okay, that's interesting.
Pokemon Go did what no other game has ever done in the history of gaming. Okay? You got everybody to get off their butts, go outside,
catch some dang
and
Pokemon.
Play a game with strangers. And everybody was at peace and they were having fun. Literally, when that game came out,
riding in Times Square or whatever, or Central Park.
That's because Pokemon Go screwed it up. Yeah. So I remember vividly when that game came out. I was like, oh man! First of all, you had a hard time getting on it because the servers were so backed up because everybody was playing it. But when it finally started actually like working, I was in downtown and walking around. I was catching Pokemon on my phone.
A lot of
some guy next to me, and
Augusta.
I look up and I'm like, everybody's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I finally go, hey, what do you catch? He's like, oh, I'm getting a Charizard. I was like, what? There's a Charizard over there? I'm running across the street and I'm catching a Charizard. You got people that sitting down, having Pokestops, just catching Pokemon. That game literally provided an experience that no other game in the history of games was ever able to achieve.
I remember driving home from work, our apartment, I had to drive by this huge cemetery, and for some reason there's
tons of people in this.
For some reason there's a Pokestop there, which seems a little like disrespectful a little bit. I think they got rid of it.
They got rid of that, yeah.
But I would drive by and there's literally hundreds of like kids, teenagers, people walking through this graveyard, swiping at the Pokestop. Or I don't think it was a gym or Pokestop. It was one of those. I was like, what is happening? Like at first I'm like, oh, there's a funeral happening. I'm like,
They're not just for funeral.
No, they're not just for a funeral. And why are they everywhere? Like the entire cemetery was full of people. I'm like, what the heck? Like on Scenic over there. I'm like, this is insane. Like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh yeah, Pokemon Go came out today.
Yeah.
Oh man, like, cause then I saw everyone on their phones, like everyone's just staring and swiping. Like,
and
what
catching.
the heck? And catching.
They're trying to be the best, the very best that ever was.
But okay, so that's one of your favorite games, or is that a best game?
That's my runner-up to my favorite game. My favorite game.
So you actually really did enjoy it that much.
I love that game.
Okay.
That's a good game.
I enjoyed it too, but I don't know if it'd be a favorite game.
No other game in the last decade has given me an experience like that.
That's true. No, you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. That's for sure.
Thank you.
I just think you're wrong about being no. Again, this is all opinion based. This is not objective at all. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Pokemon Go. So my favorite game of the decade, though, would have to go to Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
So earlier, I was comparing it to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes.
Okay, they both came out the same month. They both came out in February.
Yeah, like a week apart.
Both of them are open world action platformers, action adventures platformers. What Breath of the Wild does different is that it's truly more open world and more innovative in the way it approaches action platformers. You can literally beat that game without exploring. You can beat the temples in any direction you want and then go fight the bad guy. You can get lost in such a really vast I'll turn that game on now and I'll be like, hey, found something I didn't see before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's so peaceful in the way it approaches it. Mm-hmm. And the way the timeline is set up too is that, like in a lot of games, it's like, the world is going to end. You need to go fight the bad guy now. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, make sure you do all these side quests and go exploring.
Yeah, right.
But the bad guy's going to kill the whole world, but you got time to go do the other things. What Zelda did was, look, the bad guy's already won.
The world's already ended.
Yeah, the world's already done. You need to take as much time as you possibly can to get as much power as you possibly can to go fight the bad guy. And so that element of it made it seem like, you know what? I literally don't feel any pressure to do anything else right now besides just go exploring.
Yeah.
Find temples, get power-ups, and just enjoy a real true open world experience. And you're walking around, you got these huge, beautiful vistas. Yeah. And literally you can look off into like the distance and be like, oh, that mountain over there. You can go to that mountain.
Right.
It's not like you're in a cage. It's like,
yeah, whatever you see, you
can go. I mean, after that, it's just ocean. You can't go past the oceans.
Right.
But yeah, that game was very cathartic at moments. It had a lot of really great action. The only one gripe I would have would be your weapons breaking and then you not being able to instantly pull up another one. Like, my weapon broke. Now I'm gotta go to the menus and get another one. You can't just use the next one in line like an actual person would do.
Well, an actual person wouldn't have like 15 swords in their backpack.
Hey, okay, but it's still.
Yeah. I guess my thing with your comparison is, I don't know, in my head, and maybe this is just me, like maybe if I looked a little closer into it and a little more open mind, maybe I'm a little too close-minded, but I guess when I look at Horizon, like I look at that differently because it is Sony first party, like single player, and I even feel like it has more RPG elements. Like it is more of like an RPG because there's like the upgrade system and the way the quests are. Although Breath of the Wild had quests and stuff like that too, but I don't know. For some reason, in my head, it was always more like, oh, that's an open world RPG, where Breath of the Wild was more open world adventure game. Like I didn't feel like it was more like a role playing game. Like it was very much like just an action adventure. So, which I guess is a very, very like small thing, granular thing that I'm doing, I guess there. But that, I guess, so when you said that, it just surprised me. So I think now that you explained it, like, okay, yeah, I really do see where you're coming from. Like it does make sense. But just explaining where I was coming from, like, yeah, on a very granular level, I guess to always like differentiate, like, no, that's the RPG and that's the adventure game. Like I'm going to play Zelda to go on an adventure and get lost and have fun in a world. I play this because I want to play an RPG, and even more for the story. Like Zelda, the story up front.
Yeah.
Really. Like,
yeah.
You don't necessarily get more. The only story you really get is like who these 4 champions were in the past, but that doesn't actually really build into the story of you beating this boss.
Right.
So there's not really much. So I don't play that for story. I play it because it's a freaking awesome game to play. Yeah. Like, I don't know, it's awesome combat and, fun encounters and puzzles and stuff like that. But
yeah. See, I look at Horizon Zero Dawn as an action-adventure game with RPG elements. Kind of like what any other
right. Yeah, it's definitely not like a Fallout or anything like that. Or
it's
Skyrim,
like a Darksiders. It's like a old school Zelda games like Banjo-Kazooie. It's just like any other action adventure game that's ever been made. And then BOTW came along and was just like, we're gonna really just take it from a totally different angle.
Yeah. No, I see that now. Now that you've kind of explained it, it does make sense. They are more similar than maybe I realized before, but yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and their birth months are February.
Yeah, they both came out same year, same month. Pretty crazy.
So yeah. Anyway, those are my.
Wait a second. Was Breath of the Wild in February?
Breath of the Wild would have been February or March. March 3rd. Because that's right. The console came out in March.
That's what I was gonna say. Because Switch came out in March and as a launch, but I couldn't. But I know it came out on Wii U, so that's what I was wondering. Did it come out on Wii U earlier before it came out on Switch? But so yeah. But they were like within a week of each other. I think Horizon Zero Dawn came out like
wrong again?
27th or something. Sorry, I just
you need to have like a drinking game or count how many times it's just wrong.
I need to stop just doing that to you. It's totally calling you out on the show. Okay.
It's okay. I like being called out. Keeps me honest.
I'm just used to like with JJ, this is a constant thing, and it's necessary because he's just straight up spewing like wrong stuff, like information nonsense. So I need to get used to having a more competent co-host here who spews a lot less nonsense. No. Rest in peace, JJ.
Mine's believable at points, which is why it's even more important that you look it up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're just better at hiding it than he is. That's all it is. So my favorite games of the decade. So when you read this list, you're like, are you serious? Like, what the heck?
Yeah, I was like, none of these are that great of games. Except for God of War. That is an amazing game. And BOTW is a great game.
I have three. I have two.
Let me back up.
I have two of the same game. There's only one game on here that you're like,
let me back up. Yeah, let me back up. The only game on here that I was what the heck about was your middle one. The other two are literally on my list.
Yeah, so I have Breath of the Wild on there. That game was insane. We've already just talked about it. Blew all of our minds. No one ever imagined a Zelda game like that. Last of Us has, it was really, that was really kind of Naughty Dog's first kind of big kick in the face. Like, hey, we're big time here. Like, right? Like,
there's so much good stuff.
Like Uncharted 1. When did Uncharted 1, was that after Last of Us or was that before?
I don't know. I didn't have a PlayStation.
It must have been before because
I know it was. I think the first.
First two were definitely before, maybe even the three.
They were fun.
But yeah, I felt like Last of Us is when Naughty Dog came out. I was like, hey, like we're serious. Like we can tell good stories. Like
it was one of the most emotional games I've ever played.
Like it's not just like an action game. It's actually has impact and emotion behind it, and it's not just. Yeah, Indiana Jones running around or Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, 100% right.
Not the Bash Crash Bandicoot or even like Jack and Daxter. Like those were great games for what they were, but to come out with something that actually had like, oh, there's heft behind this. Like it's not just a whatever side or fun, goofy, in your face action set piece. So
that game was really close to being my favorite game.
Yeah, Last of Us is beautiful. So yeah, Breath of the Wild runner up, Last of Us runner up. Here's the one that Zech not so hot on.
It's not my list.
Remember, this is favorite games of the decade.
It's okay if it's your favorite.
And honestly, I wasn't gonna put on my list until I did some research. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize it came out this decade. I thought it was older than that. I thought it was like pre-2010.
I just want to hear your reason. That's all I want to hear.
I put Fallout New Vegas on this list.
Of all the games,
I have Fallout New Vegas on it's a runner-up. It's not my favorite game.
We literally went from Last of Us, so much emotion.
Breath
Zelda,
of the Wild,
so deep, so different.
So much like innovation.
Fallout, the glorified expansion. Fallout 3.
So Fallout, I mean, I guess you can kind of group up Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. So but Fallout 3 that wasn't this decade, so that's why it's not on the list. But I grouped those so tightly in the same kind of span of time of my life.
Engine, so
that game just had, I don't know, at that point in my life, it just had such a huge impact on me. Like I was in high school And I honestly, that's what got me into RPGs. I did not play RPGs before. I was not an RPG player.
Okay.
I didn't really hardly understand what an RPG was. So technically Fallout 3 was my first one, but after Fallout 3, I beat that a million times. Like I played that over and over and over and over again because I was a high school student with nothing better to do in my time. Like the same way people talk about that they played Skyrim. I actually never played Skyrim. I've never played Skyrim. Like I played like the first 20 minutes about 10 times and I never get past that.
Demo?
No, I've actually bought the freaking HD version of the game like multiple times, and then I always trade it back in, and then it goes on sale, and I buy it again. I trade it back in, and because it's one of those things like it's so cheap, why not? And I buy it, and I don't play it. I'm like, so I trade it back in. And yeah, I know I get to the point where like I get through the opening cinematic, I'm like, oh boy, that wore me out. I'm tired. Like I'm done. Like I don't know, nothing grabs me in that first instance to like keep me going. Anyways, so yeah, I like played Fallout 3 to death, and so when Fallout New Vegas came, I loved that so much. I loved all the mechanics, like the gambling mechanics in Vegas were so much fun, working with the different houses. Because like, okay, who are you going to help or not help? Are you going to go with the weird cannibal people over here? Are you going to go with the I don't even remember all the factions. It's been so long since I've touched the game. It's a 360 game. I think it's literally like barely makes it in the decade run. Like it was like right to 2010.
Yeah. Mass Effect came out in 2010 too.
But the second one or the first one? Two. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're right. But yeah, so just like dealing with all the different factions, like that was a big thing they added. Fallout 3 didn't have all the factions and stuff. New Vegas had like all these cool factions you got to weigh, like, okay, who am I going to go with? What am I going to do? I loved that world. DC was really cool, but for me, it was like DC was my first RPG, my first Fallout game. And then like, oh, what are they going to do next? Oh, wow. Like this is such a cool, like this desert area. Just all the cool new creatures. Like it was just one of those things where it was definitely a moment in time. I'm not saying it's the best game of the decade. I'm saying this game had such a huge impact on me for when it came out, and really like growing that love for RPGs that like I have now for RPGs. I only play RPGs now because of these Fallout games, New Vegas, and everything.
That's fair.
So that was one of my favorites. Like that's such a special place. Like in my
from a nostalgic standpoint, I can see why you'd say that would be your favorite game of the decade. Yeah. One of your favorite games.
Without that game, like I would not have played so many other great RPGs that have come out, like in the last decade, literally. So I owe it all to Fallout New Vegas. I left my heart in Vegas.
I played, I think like the first hour and was like, nah, not for me. I'm out.
And I even like kind of like the Western aesthetic too. It's kind of just goofy and silly and fun.
It was like so dry. I didn't like the look of it. Like right from
everything's this brown, like sepia kind of like filter on it.
It's so boring.
I mean, it's better than like the green filter that everything had in Fallout 3. Like everything was just like a greenish color. Yeah. That's one thing I liked about Fallout 4 and even 76. Like they added colors. Like it wasn't like this weird green filter on everything or this weird like sepia filter on everything. It was like, oh, everything actually looks real.
I actually like Fallout 76. I legitimately do.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
If you haven't played it, you should give it a try.
I've been holding out for, I mean, I tried to play it and I did not super get into it, but last year they were supposed to come out with the extended campaign with actual NPCs and then they postponed it and they haven't released.
They're like, oh, we don't got that, but we do got premium content you can pay us for.
Yeah, $100 a year or whatever.
Yeah, no. But if you get it on PC, we'll play together.
Well, I already have it on PS4, but maybe if it's ever on sale for like $2 on PC, I'll get it. But here we go. The game of my favorite game of the decade was another one you were kind of like not surprised by.
It's a good game.
Yeah, you did think it was a good game. I was going to try to bash you a little bit, but you did say it's a good game. God of War. And man, as I mentioned earlier, like at the end of that, like I sobbed. Like it got me so hard. The whole story all the way through even. Like, so that came out at a time as another one of those like point in time kind of games. I think if I played it any other time, I don't know if it would have had the impact. If I had played it earlier, I guess I should say. But it came out when mere months after I had a son. And it's like, once you become a father and you play through this game about this father and son bond and how difficult and hard, like distant Kratos is and how Atreus just doesn't understand and doesn't know. But then also like Kratos just doesn't understand, and like he has a hard time understanding like and connecting with his son. It's just so different and so
your
weird.
dad is Zeus.
Right. And like just the secrets they're keeping from each other and all this stuff. And I don't know, it was like, even though my son at that point was just a few months old, like I hadn't had any of those experiences. It was just even having a son to like look forward to and like realize like, oh man, like, yeah, we have a whole, lifetime essentially. Like we have a long time ahead of us, hopefully, where we're going to be able to like grow and connect in ways that, and that's what was ultimately the most beautiful thing in that game, was like at the end, like them kind of, coming together in a way, and finally making some of those connections and stuff. And it just got me. I was like, oh man, I haven't necessarily experienced these things with my son, but just like that, I don't know, the excitement of that and like the hope for that. And yeah, it really gets you. For like, I know it got people without kids as well. Like it was like an emotional ride for everyone, but
it's so much more impactful when you do have kids though.
Yeah. It was like, holy cow,
you're already feeling those emotions already. Same thing with like Last of Us. I think that's why it got me too. Like the first like 10 minutes of that game, I was heck of crying.
Oh yeah, no, the way that game was like, are you kidding me right now? Like that's how we're starting a game here.
Like okay, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, God of War definitely probably
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's definitely one of my favorite games of the last decade too.
Okay. What I was just going to say too is, obviously I just talk about the emotional impact of it on my life, but man, that axe feels so freaking good to throw around and hack
chains,
stuff in.
All of it.
The chains, so the gameplay was like amazing. I loved the whole single cam thing they did. There's no cuts in the game. Unless you die. Yeah. But there's no, like, from start to finish, the camera follows you through the entire mission. Like, there's no loading screens. Like, that's insane to me. Yeah. That it never cuts to a loading screen.
You can feel it loading in points.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, when you go on, like, the portal thing and you're like, okay.
You're like, I know for a fact it's just a fancy load screen.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, it was so beautifully shot. Like, even the cinematography in cutscenes and stuff like that. Yeah. It's like, man, this thing is a freaking masterpiece. Like, it deserves a 10 out of 10 that it got, and game of the year and everything, because it was beautiful. Gameplay was amazing, and just the emotional impact of it is.
Cory Barlog, man,
he's a man. Yeah, I follow him on Twitter. He's a crazy dude.
He's a cool guy.
He's really cool.
What I think is awesome, which is interesting, is like I feel like the first 3 God of Wars were almost like the hormonal teenager going through life. It's like, I just want violence and nudity. Yeah, give me adrenaline. And then like God of War.
It's like when you're in high school and super into metal, like death metal. Yeah. And so like, this is so cool.
Yeah. And then God of War comes out and you're like, yeah, no, I'm actually into like, folk music. I want to have a kid and kind of settle down, take life a little more seriously, know?
Yes, 100%. Give me some Mumford and Sons. Yeah. So, the Lumineers. That's my jam right now. I've been loving me some Lumineers lately.
Bro, after the show, I will hook you up with some of the best folk music. I love folk.
Okay, there we go. Sounds good. Yeah. Sounds like a plan. Alrighty, guys. Well, I need to get me some good folk music here, so let's get going. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast. It really means the world to us. Even though JJ's not here, rest in peace. Just know that he
is not dead.
He still appreciates all your listens, all your views on YouTube.
And prayers, apparently, because he's dead.
God rest his soul. If you could, please go over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review us over there. That would mean the world. Reviews there are what helps us get found. Unfortunately, Apple has a freaking monopoly on podcast, and so in order to get found anywhere, you really need a lot of downloads and a lot of reviews there. So if you can go over there, even if you don't use the app,
5 seconds.
Take 5 seconds to open it, search for us, hit 5 stars, type in a little review if you want.
That would only if you like the show. If you don't like the show, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
saves some trouble. Don't even worry about it.
If you're watching on YouTube, a thumbs up always helps. Because I noticed that we'll get like 20 views or 25 views on a video, but only like 6 or 7 thumbs up. So everyone who watches, please hit that thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe, and that way you'll get notifications when we put up new videos. So right away that you have a cool new podcast to listen to and watch. We're on Patreon, like I mentioned earlier, patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us. That helps us as well. I mentioned on earlier shows, but that's how we because games and movies are very expensive, and that helps us buy movie tickets whenever we do like big movie reviews we haven't done one in a while, but there hasn't really been anything major that's stood out to us other than Joker. Joker was the last one.
I haven't watched it yet.
That was a heavy duty movie. And then, or games, that's how we purchase some of our games. We can purchase so much, but games are freaking expensive. So your help also helps us purchase those games. We can come back and give you guys awesome reviews, impressions, and
hot takes
on all the cool new games coming out. We want to be able to give you the freshest content. Old stuff is cool too. I'm playing Horizon right now, but obviously playing the new stuff and talking about that helps keep us more relevant to a large portion of the viewer base. supergamerboys.com/store. If you go over there, you can get sweet mugs like this one. You can get an awesome sticker like that one over there. And we also have some cool t-shirts. I don't know of anyone who's purchased the t-shirts. I'm actually tempted to do it because I'm running out of shirts to wear on the show. So far, I've not wore a duplicate shirt on our show.
Wow.
I've worn a different shirt since we've started doing video.
That is a lot of shirts.
So I don't know if anyone has noticed, but since we
have to go no shirts.
since we've started doing video, I'm like, I will not repeat a shirt. So I've been wearing a different shirt every week.
You subscribe to Loot Crate, you'll get one.
So that means I just need to start buying my own shirts. So subscribe to Loot Crate. That way I don't ever run out of shirts to wear on the podcast. You can also find us at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram. We're at supergamerboys. Facebook.com/supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter at GMorlang, and Zech is over on Twitter
at Zech Keenan, ZechKeenan.
Go over there for all the hot takes. That's his middle name, Zech Hot Keenan, or Hot Keenan, Hot Take Keenan.
Thanks.
He's also Hot Keenan.
I've only been able to call that by my wife.
To some people, Thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. You can check her out on Instagram at Ground Floor Clothing. Ground Floor Graphics, sorry. That was the old
Wow, you're really into my clothes, aren't you?
Ground Floor Graphics, and then Facebook.com/Ground Floor Graphics. There's another one in the books. We survived it. Unlike JJ, rest in peace.
This is getting dark.
But again, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And on behalf of both of us, we'll catch y'all on the flippity flop.